All right, guys, welcome back. And this has been a very long year. Like, I cannot believe, in fact, I just took my son out to dinner earlier. He and I just kind of had some one-on-one time. And he was like, man, this year has gone by really fast. I'm like, well, parts of it, but other parts feel like they've taken a lifetime. So do you remember when Tim Pool quit his show? It was only like 3 months ago. And the funniest part was a lot of us had no idea exactly what he meant when he said he was going to be done with his show. He was going to move on to something else. Well, it seemed like a knee-jerk reaction at the time. And of course, Tim Pool caught a lot of crap for the fact that he basically crapped on everybody at his company, said essentially that he couldn't trust anybody to do anything. There was a graphics card that went out in one of the computers, so he couldn't get somebody to replace the graphics card. I don't understand. There's like 20, 30 people in his compound there. I don't understand how somebody couldn't replace a graphics card, but whatever, okay? Long story short, he didn't quit, but there was some definite restructuring that happened at his company. And to be honest, I stopped watching him back in the Eliza Blue situation. I vowed that I would never watch him again after this. So other than seeing clips on Twitter, I don't watch his show anymore. So it is very curious to see just kind of the de-evolution of Tim Pool's show, kind of from the peak a few years ago where things were rapidly declining. At least that's the way it seems. So he had this massive meltdown, this knee-jerk reaction. A lot of people were not happy with the way he treated his employees, his coworkers, essentially blaming a lot of other people for the fact that he doesn't have enough time to get married, have a family. Now his girlfriend's pregnant, apparently. They're going to have a kid. So after a day or two, he kind of said, well, we're not going to cancel the show. We're just going to keep things going the way they are. I'm just going to back off on some things. That's kind of like the TLDR. There's more to it than that, obviously. Okay. Fast forward. Then we had the situation really recently with Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, somebody who's like basically the only Gen Z or Gen Alpha, maybe Gen Alpha's a little young, so we'll say Gen Z, maybe young millennial appeal on Daily Wire, right? She's the only person who doesn't have gray hair practically on Daily Wire, well, at least natural gray hair. I mean, I'm sure most of the guys on Daily Wire probably would if they didn't dye their hair. That being said, she left. And it got very suspicious what the circumstances were of her departure. So, of course, she was there for like 3 years. She built up a massive YouTube channel for the Daily Wire. The comment section, like 5 million subscribers, absolutely huge. But as you would expect, I'm sure she probably wasn't making the amount of money that she could have been making at Daily Wire. And, of course, she's not the only one that we've seen depart Daily Wire. There's been some controversy, of course, with Candace Owens, who's a very controversial figure. I get it. I understand. Sure. Brett Cooper is far more, we'll say, reserved and not nearly as controversial as Candace Owens. However, there does seem to be some drama behind the scenes because despite the fact that she came out and said, no, I'm leaving of my own choice, there's no bad blood, all this stuff, and Jeremy Boring from the Daily Wire came out and said, yeah, we wish her well, and we're going to support her in whatever she does, and she's going to do great. She's going to do big things. She's going to move mountains, all that, all that crap you always hear anytime somebody leaves. They want to make it seem as friendly and amicable as possible. Well, now, of course, some of the cracks are showing. People are saying, oh, her best friend, her producer, the maid of honor at her wedding stabbed her in her back. And of course, she has now gone out and made videos saying, please give the show a chance. We didn't force Brett out. Everything's good. Go support Brett, but stay here. The show's going to go on. And we've seen some clips where essentially it just seems like her producer, Reagan, is trying to copy Brett's mannerisms, I guess you would say. I'm not quite sure what the idea behind this is. That we're going to have the show, but it's not the show, but it's the same show minus Brett, but it's not minus Brett because I'm just going to copy her exact mannerisms and speech patterns. It's very creepy. Ironically, Tim Pool commented on this and said, it all just seems like obvious contract stuff to me. I assume Brett wanted more money. Daily Wire didn't want to pay more. Impasse. I don't get why anyone would be mad. It's not like Brett can't keep doing videos. Now you get another show in the cultural space. Well, Tim Pool is interesting on Twitter because he tends to post things that are very controversial just to like piss everybody off and rile people up, which I will say is at least more interesting than half the engagement bait you see on Twitter these days. But it is very curious that he's over here more or less on the side of Daily Wire and less on people who are saying this seems fishy, this seems weird, there's something sus about all this, something doesn't feel right. Okay, fast forward to a few hours ago. Now, this is going to have to be reported on as rumor right now. I was hoping somebody had community noted this. There's no community note, not even a proposed community note. So I don't know how to take this other than this is interesting if true. So again, massive grain of salt. From Media Right News on Twitter says Tim Pool is reportedly selling his entire Timcast operation to the Daily Wire effective January 1st. Sources confirmed to Media Right News. Now, Media Right News is a big account on Twitter. I don't know how big their off-platform reach really is, so I don't know. I don't know that they're the source somebody would really go to. However, we're just going with the story the way they have it. One source told Media Right News that a Daily Wire employee has been questioning Timcast employees to determine whether they will be terminated, while a second said it is unclear which employees will retain their positions. Sources spoke on condition of anonymity due to concern of legal reprisals. It is also understood Pool is moving to Nashville, and any employee retained will need to relocate after many were required to move to West Virginia to begin employment. Pool recently commented on the Daily Wire's split with Brett Cooper without disclosing his deal with the Daily Wire, said it just seems like obvious contract stuff, and again, that was the post that we just read. Pool additionally has already had the Daily Wire as a silent minority partner in Timcast for months. This news follows Pool's confirmation following the federal indictments alleging Tenet Media, and this was another big thing because Tenet Media, which was Lauren Chen's company she started with her husband, did pay content creators like Tim Pool exorbitant amounts of money through this Russian affiliate, essentially, to put media on Tenet Media, to put their shows on there, like $250,000 a show. It's some crazy amount of money. I can't remember how much it was. It was absolutely bonkers, the amount of money. So this was already a thing that we've experienced this year alone. It says Media Right News contacted Pool to confirm the plans for the Daily Wire to acquire his business, but as of this post, did not receive an immediate response. I am not surprised one bit. Of course, you have a lot of people down below saying none of this confirms that he was taking money from Daily Wire. What does the Russia hoax thing have to do with this story about Daily Wire? I think it just is a sign that maybe he'd be willing to sell. Maybe that he wants some secure money that's not necessarily coming from an offshore account. I don't know. But what I will say is it is not improbable. Is it possible that this is fake? 100%. Is it probable that there's some truth to it? Of course, you can see the quartering chiming in here saying, my sources, I made it up. Adam Crickler says, wait, people think Tim cares about his employees. I get it. Adam Crickler left there under not great circumstances. iHypocrite says, great, now where am I supposed to go for radical politics? Daily Wire will force him to only have kosher talking points. Again, a little tongue-in-cheek because, of course, Tim Pool has been known for being quite milquetoast. And then Man-Made Cinema says, I told you all back on Halloween. Congrats to Tim Pool for selling to the Daily Wire. No matter what you think of them, they're stand-up guys. They actually do business in a gracious and distinguished fashion and are a pleasure to deal with. They encouraged Tim years ago to join them so they could lift off his shoulders the logistical weight of production so he could focus on just being talent. He stubbornly declined a generous offer, admirably believing he could get bigger on his own and build a rival empire. In a testament to how honorable the Daily Wire guys are, they didn't bend him over a barrel when he finally snapped and admitted on air that he couldn't continue on his own. Instead, they were ready to welcome him back to the table and make a deal. Encouraging to see people and companies who are often very unfairly maligned collaborate and operate business like gentlemen. When Tim is ready to make movies here in Nashville, we're ready to roll. And that, again, was the tweet from August 31st. So I don't know what this guy knew when he knew it or how he knew, but it's very interesting. What's even more funny, I think the timing of all this, because in the last year or two, we've seen like the whole Steven Crowder situation that blew up with the controversy between him and Daily Wire, where, of course, Candace Owens and a few people at Daily Wire basically called him like a snake and a liar, and we always knew he was a fake, and then he had that big public divorce with his wife and everything else. There just seems to be a lot of ick right now, I think is the only word for it, around Daily Wire. And personally, I don't know for Tim Pool's career if this is the right move. If this is an actual thing, this is going to happen. For his bank account, I'm sure it's a fantastic move. He could probably retire just off selling Timcast and walking away. But as far as like him and his personal YouTube and reporting career and his journalism he's done, I don't know that this is the right play. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Share this around, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Oh boy. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.